Hey Gazbot, coming at you. What is today? Today is day 99. 99 of 100 days of making comics, where I spend at least 30 minutes working on my independent kaiju comic, The Horror A4, issue 2. Issue 1 is already completed. Did that. Started it with the first 100 days. This is my second round, and I'm so close to being done, I can taste it. So, start the music! Can you tell I'm excited? There's my foot. Huh? Foot! Why? I don't know. I am quite excited to be so close to the end. And not the end of working on my comic, but the end of having to make a video every day. I like talking to you guys. I like making videos. I don't like necessarily having to do it every single day. The first time through, it was a real challenge. It was hard. This time through, I cannot in good conscience call it hard. I've talked about this before. It's gotten much easier. And that it's weird because in some ways it made it harder, because the first time I'm like, I have to do this, I have to prove something to myself and the world and everybody, and I felt a great sense of pride having accomplished it. Having now done that and put out my first issue, I'm more interested in getting my comic done than I am in the 30 minutes a day, because I built those skills, I built that habit. It's not a big deal for me to work on my comic every day. 30 minutes especially, big deal, you know. And I'm not saying that it's easy for everyone. I mean, I'm a year and a half away from the guy who wanted to do that, so I built those skills. It's like someone who's been going to the gym for a year and a half saying like, 10 pounds, 10 reps, who cares? Well, it's hard your first time, but once you've been doing it for a while, it's not, and you're not challenging yourself anymore. So I'm glad I did this, and it kind of got the ball rolling on a really busy time in my life on the book. And as others have said, I would not be as far along as I am had I not done this, but I wish I was further along, and I'm looking forward to being done with the challenge. Because, well, just because I like completing things, and yay me, you know, but I'll still be making videos, but it will be more every week or two, and, you know, like an update video of what's going on, and it'll free up a lot of time in my day where I don't have to make the video, but more importantly, the editing. You know, even a short video takes an hour to edit and post up and stuff, so I'm looking forward to that. Also, my client work has been very small lately, which is why I've been putting small, little teeny ones, but I've had very little, and when I've had, I've been able to finish up really quick. A few things that might come in, but literally right now I have no client work, which is why I've been able to get more hours in, but I've also been catching up on life stuff, and, you know, it's weird because it's like when I have no client work, I still have stuff to do. And I try to sometimes be like, well, I'm just going to work on my comic today. And I put in hours, and I'm like, oh my God, the litter box hasn't been cleaned. I have to clean the litter box. Okay, well, there's a pile of dishes in the sink. I have to, you know, so where I could let things slide, like, well, I haven't vacuumed the living room in a while. I could let that slide for a while, but certain day-to-day things have to be done. Laundry, etc. You know, just, it's amazing how much stuff. For those of you that still live at home and maybe your parents take care of this stuff, it is amazing how much crap you need to do around the house. And I don't even own a house. This is just an apartment. You know what I mean? Just so that you're not living in filth and squalor. What was my point? Today I worked on that a little bit, and then I have a to-do list. We all have to-do, well, many of us have to-do lists, whether you write it down or not. I do write mine down. And I have sort of my short to-do list, my medium to-do list, and my long to-do list. My long to-do list is stuff like finish 5 issues of The Horror, collect the trade paperback. My medium to-do list is like book shows next year. And then my short to-do list is things like don't forget to go to the office and pick up that package. Stuff that needs to be done within the next week, let's say. That's my short list. And then sometimes I have daily stuff like, oh my God, take out the trash because it's overflowing. So I took care of all my daily stuff and all my weekly stuff, and I started hitting some of the longer ones and just knocking a lot of that stuff out, because I'm done with this in 2 days. And next week, I'm not going to jump right in. Like, once I'm done with these, you're not going to see a video from me like this for a little while. I'm backed up on a couple toy videos. I might do Gazbot in Japan again. You know, believe it or not, I still never finished. So I'll probably work on some other videos like in my spare time. But I want to try something next week, which I've never really done. Well, I did it once, but it was for a client job. But I've never said, okay, I'm going to do like an 8-hour workday as though I went to an office and just work on my comic. You know, I could take a lunch break, I could go to the bathroom, things like that, but I can't do laundry. I can't go to the store. You know, I'll pretend like I'm at work, and this is assuming I don't have any client work, which again, right now I don't, and anything else I want to do will have to be before or after that, after dinner thing. And I often work after dinner, so it's not like, oh no, you know, like, it's just normally I mix it all up. And just as an experiment, I don't know if this is something I can keep up forever, especially because life happens and client work happens, but just to kind of, I have a really hard time gauging how long things take me. And I think Peter Palmiotti was asking me about this, and it's like, I always say it takes me about 12 hours to do a page. That's an average, that's a guess. And different pages take different amounts. I've done some pages way quicker and others way longer. It depends on the panels and the perspective gets tricky, or just a lot of face shots that come out easily. So it would be a good way to get an average. Because if I put in 8 hours a day over an average of a week, see how much work I get done, it's easier to average it out instead of saying, well, this page took me 12 hours, this one took me 8 hours. I get to say, by the end of the week, I did 5 pages. So that means if I put in 40 hours a week, and do the math and figure it out that way. But, because also I have a hard time working on it. I have a hard time, as much as it's like the thing I want to do, I do have a hard time, making myself do it. And, but once I get into it, I'm usually okay. Once I sit down and I've been working, not for 5 minutes, not for 10 minutes, but like usually by the time I get into the half hour, either it's going well and I'm cruising along, or it's not going well, but I'm in the middle of problem solving. And so stopping after a half hour, whatever, invariably adds more time. And I think others have talked about this. Breaking that flow, not in an artistic way, but in a problem-solving way, and maybe in an artistic way for people that function differently than me. It's the same as if I'm like cleaning the house. I would rather spend 2 hours cleaning the house than, a half hour a day for 4 days, where I have to get all the cleaning supplies out and put them back. And like, it's the same thing with art. I feel that you're wasting time setting up and taking down, whether physically, mentally, on your computer, whatever. So because of that, it's weird because I'm going to kind of come to a weak ending here, because I've been hitting it harder, like, oh, it's 4 hours, here's 3 hours, here's this. And instead of hitting it really hard at the end of the 100 days here, for the next 2 days and the remainder of this week, I am going to put in my 30 minutes, but I'm going to focus on getting as much other stuff done as I can off my plate, making that to-do list go down, getting all my immediate housework done, so that come Monday, I can just spend a week pretending it's my job for 8 hours working on the horror, and anything else I have to do will have to wait till after work, So yeah, that's where that is. Right now it's about 3. I'm going to put in my half hour. I need to go to the post office. Like I said, I went the other day and it was closed, so I still need to send those letters. And of course, I make phone calls and multitask. So it's sort of going to the post office, getting my exercise, and making phone calls to my family that I need to make. So it is a multitasking thing, which I feel pretty good about, but it takes up time, and that's the kind of thing I won't be doing next week. I keep putting my leg up. I don't know why. So anyway, here's my foot. It looks like I have a glow foot. I'm glow foot. Imagine if this came out of my chest. And anyone that thinks feet are gross is probably really unhappy with me right now. So I'm going to do my 30 minutes and then head out to take care of those things, which I will not be taking care of next week, at least during work hours. So I'm due. All right, it's been a half hour. Let us look at progress made. So here we have an image that they're watching on the screen, but now we're just seeing it, of the horror moving towards the shore and the tack choppers moving in. I did not reference these. I've drawn them a few times. They need to match the previous ones, so this is as close as I could get without actually doing reference. Then I went ahead, oh, actually there's another background layer that I don't have turned on. Boop, right there, that's the compound. Now these choppers, see, I put them in after. And I lowered the opacity because then I brought in reference, and the reference is just the cover and the top view I've drawn them. I've never drawn a full bottom, so I'm kind of, building the silhouette based on these and then creating the bottom based basically on that part right there. This is another example of where I did not really design it ahead of time. I just sort of had a basic idea of what it was going to be. And then I started doing the pencils, where I'm trying to get the lines a little more streamlined, and I was having trouble getting this weird nose thing from this angle, and that's when the alarm went off. So, done for now. For today, maybe, but for now, certainly. And so I'm off. Out! I'm out! I'm not out. I'm going outside. I'm not... I put a coating on the wire so that she wouldn't chew on it. It doesn't work. I mean, I guess it prevents her from biting through and electrocuting herself or ruining it, but it doesn't work. Look, but you are such a spaz. She doesn't even know how to do it right. She's like flipping around, breaking her own neck. Hey, back now, having eaten dinner and done a few other things. One thing I just got done doing is getting the files ready for printing pins. I need to reorder a lot of the old pins I had. I am still wiped out. I should have already reordered, but I haven't got around to it. But I want to absolutely have them for Kamikaze at the end of this month, because it'll be a big show, and the type of show, similar at least to San Francisco Comic-Con, which is what wiped me out of my pins to begin with. I mean, whatever. I need to reorder pins, but I also wanted to get some new pin designs that I've been meaning to do, and to do that I had to format them. So let me show you. So I use this site called Half Price Buttons, and they're good quality and relatively inexpensive in terms of being able to make a few pennies, and say bucks, but bucks overall, I guess. And the first couple things I did was grab obvious ones, like this is Rodan, and I have a print of him that is an 8x8 square. So being that it was a headshot and it was a square already, it was relatively easy to fit in. I did certain things, like this wing was cut off right about here. And so you can't really see it, but I just grabbed it and stretched it and then blurred where there was a little bit of a line just to make it fit. And of course, the button's gonna be like that big, so no one's gonna see that detail, but that's a new pin that'll be coming out. Similarly, I like to reuse, this was an 11x17 print of Godzilla versus King Kong. So I grabbed Kong's face, there was a smoke effect, but since I do everything on separate layers, I removed that. There was a building back here that I erased so it was a little bit more clear, and there's my Kong pin. This is the Godzilla head from that same print. I was basically able to just grab it, and there you go, new Godzilla pin. This was another headshot, another 8x8. Similarly to the Rodan, I had to extend the background, but again, since I always do things in different layers, which is time consuming, it helps when I need to do edits like this. And this was Godzilla from my Godzilla vs. Mothra print. Again, the wing was behind him, all this other stuff, but I just removed that and you get another Godzilla headshot. Now, it probably seems weird that I have so many variations of Godzilla pins and prints, but people want specific ones and people like to collect the different ones. And so while it might seem like a lot of the same to the untrained eye, people that are interested in these, you know, they'll be looking for new ones. And then this is Mothra, which I like to do headshots as much as I can for pins, but Mothra just doesn't work as a headshot. But Godzilla was standing here, so I had to remove that and then repurpose it there, and now I got a Mothra pin. And speaking of repurposing, this is the standee art for the Horror A4, which I made into a print, which I am now making into a button. And similarly, the background color, I had to slide up a little bit to make it make sense. And so those are the new pin designs, and then I'll be mixing those in with some of the olds that I need reprints of and sending that out either later tonight or tomorrow. And all of this also serves as a good example to a subject near and dear to my heart, which is reusing artwork, reusing work any way you can. Ideally, every time you create something new, it'd be new artwork, and you know, you'd have a million different versions of everything and just produce, and that's great. But if you're as slow as I am, it's much easier and much more economical that when I create a print, every pin I have, and I've got a lot of pin designs now, and they sell pretty well, I don't think any of them, I have one that I've created as a pin. All the rest are reused art that I've just manipulated slightly to fit as a pin. And the one that I created for a pin is for the Horror for Boots, her little patch with the M. I made a pin of that, and that doesn't sell very well. So, but similarly, you know, the standee, I was making the standee art, that's what it's for. But hey, why not make a print too? And then once I have that, make a button. And you know, if the prints I have that have two different monsters, that's two different pins. And by doing the different layers, it's easier to separate, as I said. And also when I do flyers, I'll use the front cover of the comic, or you know, if I need something on the back, I'll use a panel of a comic, things like that. It's just a good way to put more product out there, to get things moving without waiting for me to take time to create all new artwork. I can just repurpose it in a slightly different way, and it serves the same purpose as if I had drawn a whole new picture. Most people, especially if they don't have the comic and they're just getting a flyer and it has the same cover, they're not going to know or even care. You know, it either gets them to look at the comic or it doesn't. But yeah, that's my little reuse lesson thing. That's something I've done for a while, and it's something I plan on continuing doing forever. Yes. All right, catching up on some Mike Emeritz updates for 100 days of making Space Cat while I finished putting in the pin order. I decided to just go ahead with it tonight. The site I use, like I said, is a half price buttons, I believe, and they've updated it. It's gotten better because it used to be I had to upload the art every time, but now I could just reorder and change the amount and stuff. So most of the reorders were easy, and then I just had to do 7 new uploads for the new orders, and it was a pretty big order. I don't know if it's the biggest I've ever put in. It's at least tied with the biggest, and as a consequence, the price, the one good thing I like is that the more you order, the price comes down, but it's not dependent on ordering one image. So I have like whatever 20 different pins, but the grand total is like 850 or something like that total pins, and that cumulatively has brought the cost down to 15 cents a pin, whereas previously it was 25, 20, 21, whatever. And then the other thing that affects the unit cost is shipping, but it's only going to be $5, I guess, because again, I have a big enough order that the shipping is down. And now that's for non-express. I could pay more to get express, but the non-express is just 3 days of processing. It should be here in a week or two, you know, which even if it takes 2 weeks, I'll have it in time for the show. And so $5 spread out all overall, that is like another penny or something. So that's great. it's because I know I'll be able to sell them, if not at this show, over the course of the next couple shows, that I could afford to put that money in, because it was, you know, a big order. But it's like with a lot of things in business, whether it's printing, you know, prints to sell or comics or whatever, the more money you put up front, usually the cheaper you can get them for and the more profit you make on the back end. But then that's tying up your money in stock and things like that. So this is very businessy, but that's part of the deal if you're going to be tabling and selling merchandise, stuff like that, that by putting the money up front and be willing to defer making money on it, I make more money. So it's kind of a crappy system where if you can afford to not get money, you'll get more money. So, dumb but true. Anyway, I'm going to end it today. Today, if you could believe it, and even if you can't, is day 99. And if today is day 99, I don't know why I'm saying it like that. Well, then, you know what that means. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. We've got 1 day left. The Sith. All right. And, so anyway, here's my... The phone couldn't handle the foot.